Waiting for Tristan to introduce the podcast.
Oh, that's right. Uh, Greetings, my fellow countrymen, and welcome to another meeting of the Nerdic Council. I am joined by my fellow council members, Julian and Arlo. What's up?
Hello.
Sup?
So today, before we came on the podcast, Julian decided to bring up a very interesting topic of conversation. Would you like to introduce that, Julian?
Yes. For tonight's meeting, we shall be talking about books we read as kids.
I love how you say tonight and it's only 3:28 p.m.
Well, it's close to night.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
It's almost dinner time.
I mean, it's winter. It gets dark at like 4:30.
Yeah.
So
Well,
close enough.
Anyways, when I say books we read as kids, I mean specifically full-on chapter books we read in like 5th or 6th grade. Because
Yeah, don't worry, guys. We're not talking. We're not going to be talking about like green eggs and ham for an hour. All right, so you don't have to. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, there's not much conversation material there.
Yeah. So I brought this up because I was a huge reader as a kid. Like I was a fucking
Oh, same
nerd.
Yeah, same here. I think probably the series that I want to bring up first, and the one that probably like every Gen Zer read, is Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
I thought you were gonna say the Magic Treehouse books, but I remember
Oh,
Diary of a
dude.
Wimpy Kid really well.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think
Dude,
there's
I
like
remember-
15 books now.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
read. I think the last one I read was like 10, and I stopped reading them because they're all the same. I didn't really. I just kind of grew out of
All
them.
the same. Some of them were better than others.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
surprised it's still going on.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything about them anymore, other than like all those videos, like those like 40-minute video essays. Like, is Greg Heffley a sociopath? Which he is. Like,
You
I
tend to
kinda
bring
believe
that up like every single time we get together,
That
which I
Greg
find
Heffley's
funny.
Yeah.
Why?
Why do I find that funny that you think Greg Heffley is a fictional character? A fictional character for kids. You think he's a classified sociopath. And you bring it
Yes.
up every time we get together and play Magic the Gathering. And you're
I
wondering
don't
why I
bring
think
it up.
that's humorous.
Wait.
I
What?
don't bring that up all the time. I can't even remember the last
I
time
don't know, man.
brought-
You brought it up a lot. Enough for me to remember that you brought it up a lot.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what crack you're smoking. I don't bring it up that much. At least I don't
Yeah.
think I bring it up that much. I don't remember like
You
ever
smoke or
talking about
snort
it.
crack rock? You smoke it, right?
I don't know. I don't do crack. Do you?
Next topic.
But anyway, I mean, those books are like iconic. I mean, everybody, even people who don't really read that much, read these books. They're like Harry Potter, which I don't know if we'll get into Harry Potter because we did bring it up on another episode that wasn't released.
Oh, right.
Uh,
The one where we just
oh.
roasted J.K. Rowling for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not gonna bring that up. We already talked about that. Maybe another time. But
Yeah. One
yeah,
thing. You can't mention Diary of a Wimpy Kid anymore without bringing up r/loaded diaper.
Okay, I'm kind of
Is that-
I'm a big fan of the Manny Heffley memes. Although
Yeah.
some of them are like
Yeah.
unnecessarily like edgy. They're trying to be edgy or like
Yeah.
dark, and
Yeah.
it's just like that's not funny. That's just like that's not dark humor. That's just being an asshole. But some of them
My
are
favorite-
really
Manny
funny.
has fucking died.
My favorite Diary of a Wimpy Kid memes are the one where they take like the panels from the story and they make them like
Yeah, and they
completely
like add
different.
text to them.
Yeah, my favorite is this one that Julian showed me in math class, it was basically where they take all these panels of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but they replace it where Greg and Rowley are in Vietnam, and
Oh my god.
Greg, he calls him Jefferson. He never calls him Rowley. It's really funny. And there's like all these scenes where it's like there's this one where they're being like chased by the bullies, but Greg like goes into super excruciating detail and describes it as this very dramatic scene where they're like being hunted by the Viet Cong, and it's so
And it's just
fucking
like
funny.
text and drawings, right?
Yeah, it's like these like cartoonish like sketch drawings that look like they would be in an 8th grader's notebook, and it's like this but the text is like super dramatic, talking about how Greg and Rowley are being hunted by the Viet Cong.
That's hilarious. I remember
know.
finding the font that they used in Diary of a Wimpy Kid when I was like 9 on Google Docs. It's called Skippy with a capital S. And
Oh.
I had read so
Huh.
much Diary of a Wimpy Kid like that year and the previous years that I instantly recognized it, and I started to type with it, and I was like, oh my god, this is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid font. And I think you can still
Yeah.
find it on Google Docs.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe it was Pages, but it's the name of the font. I know that.
Yeah, like, what's weird is that with the loaded diaper fanfic, some of them range from basically shitposts to being actually good stories, like 25 years later.
I remember, oh god, I remember browsing r/loaded diaper for the first time and seeing, like, the first post I saw was this, like, really huge community hit that was apparently, like, the 26th installment in an epic set in the world of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and it was, like, horror thriller, and it was called, like, The Closet, or, like, The Door, or something, and I didn't even really read into it, but that...
I might have read that. Like, I remember it having something to do with, like, Manny, but he's covered in this black ink, and I remember it being pretty good.
Something like that, yeah. But there was obviously so much, like, effort put into it, and it's like, that's not even, like, your... It's all fan-written, which I thought was funny.
Hmm.
Dude, the fans of like all these different fandoms and like I love it when fandoms just turn something like so innocent into like these crazy shit posts. Like
We talked about the Cursed Garfield, I'm sorry,
yeah,
John,
the-
in the
Yeah.
Halloween
I'm
episode.
sorry, John. Yeah, I'm sorry, John. I mean, yeah, as he said, we talked about it in the Halloween, so we're not really gonna go over it again. But that's just like a perfect example of an excellent shit post where it combines two things that you think would not work, like Garfield and like Lovecraftian horror, but it somehow does work, and it's amazing. My question, like if I had one question for Jim Davis, it would be, do you know about I'm sorry, John, and if you do, have you seen it, and what do you think of it?
I'm sure someone's, like, tagged him in a tweet, like, once. I'm gonna look it up right now while you guys are talking. I'm gonna mute myself and search for it and see what comes up.
Do it. I really want to know
Indeed.
if he actually has seen that. And what
What's his name
reaction
again?
is.
Yeah.
Jim Davis.
Jim Davis? I should have known that.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to what when Arlo said Magic Treehouse, that just flooded me with nostalgia because I read the Magic Treehouse books like crazy back in the day, and I used to have like a ton of them. I don't know how many I had exactly, but I had like more than 30 of them. There were
It
so
doesn't-
many.
It doesn't look like Jim Davis has reacted to I'm Sorry John specifically, but he's made like original comic strips that are kind of similar, not in like visual like
Oh, do you mean Garfield minus Garfield?
no, I mean there was one comic strip that I'm finding a lot in the images that I look up when I see this, that I remember from having like the paper compilations of Garfield comics that you would get at the bookstore, and
Mhm.
um, one of them is like existential, like an existential crisis that Garfield is having or that John is having. Is it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I think I know
or
what you're
no, it
talking
was that Garfield was
Oh,
having, and that like John and Odie were like gone, and it was like a nightmare that he was having, that he was like in a an abandoned house, and like
Yeah, he was
everyone
like
was
at his.
dead. Yeah,
Yeah, he was in like an
oh, you're
abandoned
breaking
house, and
up
like
like
John and
crazy.
Odie were dead.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Oh, and I
I
found an
forgive
image
you.
from that.
That's what it is. That's like the last panel. After years of taken
Damn.
life for granted, Garfield is shaken by a horrifying vision of the inevitable process called time.
Dude, that actually does sound like something H.P. Lovecraft would write.
Or like
Like,
Twilight Zone crossover.
Yeah.
yeah, like Jim Davis was doing. I'm basically the foundation of I'm Sorry John before I'm Sorry John was even a thing.
Yeah.
He called it, man. He was doing like creepy shit with Garfield before it was cool.
Yeah, like that red swirling eye in the back at the end is just so unsettling. Like, this is from Garfield?
Yeah, it like when you
I
look
think
at it, it
it's
looks
one of
like
the most humorous strips in that way, I think, because it's so unconventional. My
yeah,
initial reaction is laughter.
it looks like a really good fan drawing, but then you realize no, this is like official. This was made by Jim Davis, and it's like what? This is Garfield? It's crazy, man. But it's also really good.
Mm. So, anyways, back on the topic of books we read as a kid, I thought I'd bring up one of my favorites, a series of unfortunate events.
I never read that book actually.
I remember reading all of them, but I don't remember the content really. I remember there was a book where it was set in like a garden, like their uncle's garden or something, or like indoor greenhouse. And then there was another one with a lady who was obsessed with books and she lived on like a cliff and they were being chased by their weird creepy uncle.
Yeah.
And then there
Yeah,
was a
so,
baby in a cage. It's very vague.
so basically, to sum it up, it revolves around these three kids whose parents died in a fire and wind up living with their deranged uncle Count Odal. Yeah, Count Olaf, who's constantly trying to kill them so he can get their money. And after that, it just sort of divulges into this whole ongoing story involving like secret societies and just one bad thing after another happening to these kids. Like, it's very dark for a series aimed at a 12-year-old.
I don't think it was presented in a dark way though. Like it was dark content, but they didn't like
Yeah,
emphasize like the traumatic parts of it. It was just kind of like, uh-oh, bad thing happened. Now they have to
yeah,
relocate. Somebody's dead. People stop living when they die.
yeah. It's more of a dark comedy in that kind of way. Like, it has this really dry Wes Anderson-esque feel to it.
I can definitely see where you're coming from.
I
Yeah, no, it's
never
a very faint memory.
I never
Yeah.
read those books. I think I saw the movie, but you describing the plot, it kind of reminds me of this newer movie that's also based on like kids' books. It's called The Willoughbys.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys have heard of
Spell
it.
it.
I don't really know how to spell it. I know it starts with a W, and it's called The Willoughbys. And basically, the plot is about like these kids, uh, and they hate their parents so much, so they're like thinking up all these plots to try and kill them.
ugh.
But it's portrayed in like this really goofy, cartoony way. So you don't really think too much about the dark fact that these kids literally hate their parents so much that they want to kill them.
I mean, Stewie from Family Guy. Although
Yeah, but
That's
Stewie
not a
from
kid's
Family
show.
Guy's from an adult cartoon, so
Yeah.
is it funny
Yeah.
though? Is it a funny show? Because if it's
Uh,
funny, then that's okay.
I mean, it's trying to be more comedic. I mean, humor's subjective, so I don't know if you'd find it funny, but it can be pretty funny at some points.
Mm.
Does anyone else think the funniest parts of Family Guy are the clean skits? Like the genuinely like smart ones that don't resort to like poop humor or whatever?
Yeah.
Because when you have limitations on like what you can do, it can be more creative. Like when
Oh yeah, totally. If you can make someone laugh without using like stereotypes or cuss words or like anything negative or like shock humor or slapstick, like smart comedy is kind of hard to find, but it's so worth it.
yeah, that's why a lot of shows that don't have like any restrictions fail, except like South Park. But South Park does it in like a smart way. It doesn't just like it doesn't just do like random stupid shit. It actually, well, it does do random stupid shit, but it doesn't take itself seriously.
Oh my god, they killed Kenny.
They did kill Kenny.
I
Those
should
bastards.
I should maybe watch that for the first time because I saw the first ever episode a few years ago and then I didn't watch any more because the first season is probably not the best. But since then, I've
The
seen
first
lots of clips like on my Instagram Explore page, and so I'm considering getting into it. Although it's not on Netflix, I don't think.
I would suggest
No.
like the first few seasons honestly aren't really that great. They're not that. There are a few good episodes like here and there in the first few seasons.
Okay, but is
But-
it mostly filler? Because if I start in the middle of the show, am I gonna miss like any plot progression?
Not
There is
really.
no plot progression. It's South
Good.
Park.
Good.
It doesn't. South Park doesn't really have plot progression. It's mostly each episode how they. I mean, the later seasons kind of have a plot, but it's way looser. But like the earlier seasons, like seasons like 5 through 10, which I would probably say are some of the best. Usually they don't have a plot. They'll usually just like talk about some thing that was going on in the world at that time. I would suggest if you want to get a good episode, watch this one. Oh, what is it called? It's this one where it's like a parody of anime, and
Oh. Good Times with Weapons.
yes, Good Times with Weapons. That episode's really funny.
Yeah.
Basically, they get the main characters. They get like these ninja weapons, and then like most of the episode is like is their imagination, and they imagine themselves as like these jacked anime warriors, and they're just like running around like fighting weapons, and then one of the other kids tries to get involved, and they accidentally throw a ninja star in his eye, and they have to like dress him up as a dog so they can take him to the vet instead of going to like the normal doctor.
What the fuck? Okay. That actually sounds pretty entertaining. You know what that reminds me of? I don't
It's a
know if
good
you,
episode.
Tristan, I remember you saying you didn't think it was funny, but Big Mouth on Netflix, their original show that has like all the best frickin' actors in it. They oh, that's good. They did an episode where everyone had superpowers. And then they also did, except it didn't change the animation style.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I think
I-
it's creative when shows like are able to like take what people know they like about like the show and then just like flip it on its head and it goes well for them.
Yeah,
And just,
like
they get creative with it.
Community, because Community changes it.
I was gonna say, yeah, like the claymation episode.
Yeah, and the G.I. Joe episode.
I didn't get as far as the G.I. Joe episode. I stopped around season 5, or maybe I'm just not remembering it well.
Oh, it's really funny. Like Jeff imagines his friends as G.I. Joe characters, and Britta is called Buzzkill, and Shirley's called Three Kids.
Yeah, I'll have to come back to that. I feel like it kind of lost its charm when my two favorite characters left the show. It was Troy and Pierce. Like when I
Yeah.
thought of the show, I thought of them, and then they both just left. And now it's like not funny at all. And for some reason, the lighting got really like dim and dreary in every shot for like a full season. And it's like, where's the lighting crew on this show? Like, why is that the thing that I noticed first?
They left the
Never
show
noticed
along
that.
with those other characters.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it like visually feels like a worse version of a show that you used to like. Like it just gets like dark and it's like not that funny anymore. And like it lost its charm because Dan Harmon left the show. And like
Really?
he was the core of it, and I heard that he comes back later and then it gets better, but I didn't reach that part because it was just too hard to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah, in season 5 it got a little bit better since I think that's when Dan Harmon came back, but yeah, the first 3 seasons were probably the best.
I mean, I can't really relate to this because I never watched Community.
Oh my
I
god,
haven't
dude,
watched
it's the frickin' Avengers and Rick and Morty crossover. You gotta watch it. Yeah, like you'll get to like the 4th and 5th seasons and then you'll start to get what we're talking about, but it's definitely worth it to like see the first 3. And like you can just stop watching whenever, but I feel like if you just like broke through that barrier and just sunk your teeth into it, you would really enjoy it. And then it would be much easier to like start watching.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot at some point. I haven't watched it yet, but I know it's on Netflix.
It is on
And-
Netflix, and Netflix doesn't have a lot of great stuff. So that's
Yeah,
definitely
I don't
something
know,
The
to
only
try.
downside is that Netflix removed the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
What? Why?
Oh, I was
Because-
looking for that. I heard there was one of those, and then I didn't see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they removed it because at one point Shane was wearing blackface, like, because he was trying to dress as a dark elf.
Oof.
It would have been a crossover of like my 2 favorite franchises, or not franchises. It's a TV series and a TTRPG. But like, damn man, now I'll have to go to some like bootleg website, or just like pay for Hulu or whatever it's on.
That sucks because I really wanted to see that. I heard a lot about that episode. I'm like, man, I should check this show out. But dude, that sucks that I got taken off.
Dude, I feel like The Office should have been a little more creative with their like filler episodes. Because there were only a few filler episodes, to be honest. Most of them had a lot of story progression, if you've seen The Office, the entirety of it. But, I mean, an Office D&D episode would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you saw... Ooh, bumped the microphone. If you saw Parks and Rec, I remember seeing a Tumblr text post about how Parks and Rec would have been really funny if they did, like, a Pokemon Go episode, and all the characters had, like, their own interpretations of it. And you can just like write it in your head, you know? Like it just comes easily once you get to know all the characters.
Mm.
There's so much to work with there.
You know that since you guys brought up Dan Harmon, do you guys? I've heard this talked about a bit, but do you think that Rick and Morty has gotten kind of bad?
No.
Yeah.
I still think it's just as smart and original as ever. It's so unpredictable, and I love how every episode, especially like the plot and the characters, I guess, okay, from a story standpoint, I'm not totally sure what they're doing. I don't really remember how this latest season even ended in terms of like character progression, but individual episodes, the plot and like, just like genius behind, yeah, I guess plotline and dialogue is really witty and like fast paced. I feel like it's still there. It's still keeping up all the gimmicks. If what you're saying about like the core of it falling apart is true. I'm enjoying it on the surface, and I haven't noticed anything wrong with like the story, but maybe I'm just not reading into it enough.
Well, the main reason why I think it's gone downhill is mostly because of the story, because the writers keep doing this thing where they make it seem like they're about to go in this specific direction, but immediately backpedal on it. Like, eventually you just get tired from it. And
Give me an example. Do you mean like Rick escaping from prison, like right after he got
Yeah.
imprisoned in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way he manages to defeat the, I forget what the Empire's name was, but the way he manages to defeat them was pretty funny, but other
The
than that,
Council of Bricks.
yeah, it felt like kind of a cop-out.
How did he do it again?
I think it's like he manages to mess with their economy in the most half-assed way possible, and it somehow gets them to leave.
I feel like I
Like-
have to go back and see the episode, and then I'll start remembering.
Yeah, he changed the value of their dollar from a 1 to a 0.
Oh, right, yeah.
and
That
then
was
the
a
whole
pretty
government
forgettable moment, but
collapses.
I mean, okay, relatively forgettable. They're all rememberable, but like,
Rememberable.
but it wasn't like a huge climax, but there was a lot of build up with the Council of Ricks for like a long time.
Yeah.
I guess it did kind of
don't
feel
know.
like a cop out, if
I wasn't
the
not a
biggest
smartly
fan.
written one.
I mean, I really liked season 1 and 2, but I watched season 3 and there were some good episodes, but honestly, I thought season 3 was kind of eh. And then season 4 was also kind of eh.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the episode with the time-traveling snakes, but other than that, it was
Oh, yeah,
kind
that
of
one's
hit
pretty
and
good.
miss.
I feel like you guys are being too harsh on it. I would just blaze through that show, and then I was upset that there wasn't any more when I finished all 5 episodes. I thought there was going to be another one. I think the reason I thought there was going to be another one at the end of this last season was because the climax wasn't clear enough. I was like, wait, that was the end? We're waiting for another season? Oh, okay. And I think that was the one where they prayed to Jesus. Was that last season?
Yeah,
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the
It's been
time
a
train
while since I
episode.
watched it.
yeah. Wasn't that into that episode because I felt like it got a bit too meta. Like, if you don't know what it's making fun of, you're just going to be completely lost.
I feel like they know their audience at least,
Yeah.
or their target audience.
Let's be honest, though, guys. The best episode of Rick and Morty is the Bushworld Adventures episode. That's the best episode of Rick and Morty.
Morty,
We gotta go get me cube.
We're going to Bendigo.
We gotta go get me cube, Morty. We gotta go Bendigo to get me cube.
All right, for all
any
our
Australians
listeners,
watching this, I'm so sorry.
if
I'm
you
so
haven't seen
sorry,
it,
Australians.
if you haven't seen
You
it,
guys
our
are
listeners, good. Don't go watch it. It's not worth your time. In fact, I'd say it's worth. You'll gain negative. You'll lose twice as much time of your life that you spend watching it. So every minute you spend watching this special, weird, experimental episode that's kind of not Rick and Morty is you lose 2 minutes off of your entire lifetime.
Because that
You
makes
know,
sense.
the-
It's
Yeah.
like smoking cigarettes for the brain. That's what that's what it is.
You know, the guy that did Bushworld Adventures actually created a show for Adult Swim.
I heard.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny, though. One major thing to note is how the finale actually has them going to Bushworld. And they even meet Uncle Barry.
Me husband's a bloody uke.
I think I like Jerry the most in Bushworld Adventures. Like the interpretation.
Yeah.
I think Jerry has always been one of my favorite characters because he's so funny. Like
That's not a
Just-
bush wizard, you idiot. That's your dad. Yeah, I
I
know
knew that.
Nah. Boy,
God,
you're
it's so
funny.
good. I love Jerry so much. I think any show with a character named Jerry, frickin' Parks and Rec had a Jerry, Rick and Morty has a Jerry, and then there's one other show that has a Jerry that I'm forgetting.
Tom and Jerry.
No, it's like a dumb Jerry.
Bro,
Like,
if you want your
shut
kid
up,
to
Jerry.
if you want your kid to be dumb and funny, just name him Jerry.
There was one other show. Why can't I remember it? It'll come to me. Whatevs. All right, so we've got like 15 minutes left. What else do you guys want to go over today?
This is always the hardest part. The hardest part is always the last few minutes when we can't think of anything.
Yeah, and then as soon as we hang up and stop recording, we have the funniest fucking conversation.
Yeah, I know,
It happens
right?
like every time, and we're like, why weren't we recording?
We should just always be constantly recording ourselves, just in case we say something funny. so
Oh,
can
we are.
upload
We
it.
just don't have access to those recordings.
That's right.
We
We
live in a
like-
dystopia.
This is like 1984 shit. The government's watching you. If you think they aren't, then you are a fool. It's the pigeons. It's the pigeons. They're watching us. Those eyes. Those aren't eyes. Those eyes are lies. They're cameras.
Reality
Tap
is
into
stranger than
Washington,
fiction.
D.C.
Reality's an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold.
Michael,
Bye.
bye.
You're in a simulation. Inside a simulation.
Inside another giant simulation.
Quick, guys, get naked. Then we can get out of this simulation. They hate nakedness.
Jerry has to model the little boy's penis. That was a good episode, okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
that was.
I
When
think
Rick
that's
and Morty
probably-
had its charm, I think.
I think, in my opinion, other than Bushworld Adventure, that's probably Rick and Morty at its best. Like, that just had some of my favorite jokes in the entire series. Like and here is Earth Radio with human music. Boop, boop, boop.
Human music.
Ah.
I like
I
it.
like-
He's the funniest character.
And then,
Chef's
and then,
kiss.
like, the one where he, like, gets the deal, with the advertising company. And then there's, like, the mailman who's just like, my man. That guy is always. I
Oh,
can
yeah.
hear that so
Yeah,
many
he
times.
keeps glitching.
My man.
Yeah, and then it's just like, there's those guys at the office. It's like, so, do you like it? Yes. And they all just like stand up and are just like shaking their hands in like random places.
Click and point your fingers. Yes.
And they're like clipping out of existence.
Fucking cyberpunk predicted.
Rick, they say the Simpsons predict everything. Nah, Rick and Morty predicting cyberpunk like 5 years
Confirmed.
beforehand. Indeed. We need like that should be the thumbnail of our video, is just like Rick and Morty predict cyberpunk confirmed, and it's just like there's like red circles all over the screen and like red arrows and there's like question marks and just like what, and and we just have like our shocked faces like no, really. Oh,
YouTube
shit,
thumbnails
mine is-
always be like. That's what gets
Indeed.
views though. Someone important
is-
once said, God, okay, I can't remember his name, but I behind a lot of really famous Nintendo franchises like Legend of Zelda and Pokemon, I think.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
It might have been him, but it might have been one of the other guys. I can't. They're all the same to me as like developers,
Wow,
like game
Iwata?
developers.
Racist.
It's not
Arlo, you
racist.
fucking racist. All Japanese people look the same to you, you fucking
I don't even
racist.
know what they look like. I just hear their names. I
Wow.
read essays.
Oh, so
and
they're
also-
them now, you fucking racist, Arlo. Jesus.
Racist,
I can't
sexist for referring
believe
to
you.
everyone as they them.
Oh yeah, you fucking sexist piece of
You can't
sexist
blame me for
shit.
not choosing to live in the whitest city in like all of Oregon. I think literally like 98% of everyone around us is white. You know that.
And now you're bragging about your white privilege.
Oh
Arlo,
yes,
you
boasting.
You're boasting of your white privilege.
I was gonna say, there's
Get
a
outta
quote. There's a quote by
Get
one of the famous
canceled.
Nintendo producers or executives that goes, a delayed game is one day going to be good, whereas a rushed, sloppy game is always going to be bad, or like an unfinished game is always going to be bad. And essentially, it's like, if you know your game isn't ready for release, or anything else for that matter, it could apply to like a lot of different fields. Like, maybe go overtime just to make sure that it's quality if it's going to be something people are returning to in a long time, you know?
Well, I think the reason it's rushed out, and it's also the reason why you see so many early access games now, like Mountain Blade 2 was early access, Baldur's Gate 3 was early access, is because these games are getting more and more expensive to make, and they need to release the game so they can make money, because if they didn't and spent like 3 more years developing it, then they'd go bankrupt.
But people want to pay for good games, and you're not going to make as much money if you release a poor game.
Yeah, but if you don't release the game, then you don't have any money. Then you go
But
bankrupt.
you need money to make a game, even if the game is bad. Wait, I'm contradicting myself.
Well, they're like, the thing is, they're spending all their money making the game, and
Well, maybe
they
just
can't work
spend less money on
longer.
promotion, okay? That's always the answer. That's always the answer. Stop selling posters, stop doing commercials. People will find out about your game through word of mouth, like the old days. Just start a Facebook post. Start a Facebook group. Start a Facebook
Wow,
hashtag.
now I see why you're racist, Starlux. You're a fucking boomer. What is this? What is this? 1984? Like word
I'm
of
literally
mouth?
the
Get
youngest
out
person
of
of
here.
all three of us.
Fucking
You're almost
boomer.
there. Wait, what's the official age for being called a boomer off the like Urban Dictionary? Isn't it like 60?
It's like I think the years. It's like 19. I think it's like, I don't even know. It's like the end of World War II.
I remember hearing someone
to-
complain that Obama was a boomer because they saw boomers as like conservative, homophobic, and like everything Obama wasn't.
Yeah. No politics. We're not getting into politics, but I
Not
call my-
again. We're not gonna
my
make that
mom-
mistake again.
my mom says a lot of old timey shit because she's like 52 years old, and she'll say like, when like I'm making fun of her, she'll say like, "Do you think I just fell off the turnip truck?" Which basically just means like, "Do you think I'm stupid?" And I just go
She
like,
said that?
"Okay." Yeah, she says that all the time, and I go like, "Okay, boomer," and she gets so mad. She's like, "I'm not a boomer. I'm Gen X." And she is Gen X. She's not a boomer, but it's so funny that she gets so mad being called a boomer that I call her a boomer. Have you ever called your parents boomers even though they're not?
No. I see it. I definitely see it as an insult. The things that I regularly insult my parents on mentally, not out loud, are not the things that
I
I
don't-
insult boomers for.
I don't verbally torture them. I psychologically torture them with my mind.
You shoot daggers at a goat from, or what is it? You shoot lasers at a mountain goat from 40 meters away. It's Wonder Boy, Kyle.
My parents actually are boomers.
Are they?
I mean, I'm probably wrong, but they might be.
Who knows?
Kristen, whenever you're talking, I can hear like a weird progression of like digital sounding notes, like a beep, like repeated beeps, that like makes a repeating melody.
I think that's Julian. That's not me.
That's Julian. Wait, Julian, say
Yeah.
something.
Something.
Okay, it's every time one of you speaks, not every time, but like occasionally, I'll hear what sounds like a compressed version of the opening to Green Hill Zone.
All right.
The do 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 do, but it's like the rapid notes leading up to it, like the intro. And I hear
Wait,
that
do you
it's
hear
like,
it now?
are you listening to something?
No.
I just heard it.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was Julian. I saw his his
Yeah.
icon flash.
What is that,
It's
Julian?
fine.
Is that like a it sounds like an old-timey telephone like voicemail notification
Oh,
or
that's
something?
probably the my headphones signaling that they're on low battery.
Yeah. No, we can hear that. Well then, we
I mean,
we
it's
better wrap
fine,
it
it
up
does-
then.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
So so on that note, we're gonna wrap up this meeting for today. But
No, I find that kind of funny. Just that we
Yeah.
hear the Green Hill Zone like every time you're. That's gonna be stuck in my head.
Anyway, on that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up today. Thank you all for listening in on this meeting. If you liked this episode for God knows what reason, please like, and if you really liked it, because you're insane, subscribe, and maybe even donate to a Patreon. Shameless Patreon plug.
God, maybe we
But-
should just take down our Patreon. Maybe.
No,
I
I'm
loved
a
watching
whore.
as our
I
I
forgot
as our
we
need
had a
production quality.
Patreon.
I'm a money whore. I want money.
Okay,
Give
that's
me
fair. Me
money.
too.
I'm poor. Give me money.
We don't get nearly as much allowance as we think we deserve.
Hmm.
Well, some of us get more than others because they have white privilege, Arlo.
Oh my God! Stop with the jokey
Fucking
politics.
White fucking
Our
white
other politics
privilege,
episode,
boomer,
it
racist,
started as a joke.
homophobic
It
ass.
started as a joke, and then it wasn't a joke, and we talked about it for 45 minutes, and that was like a waste. I don't think any of us enjoyed that, and we just kept
Go
talking
back-
about it.
Go back to your fucking farming village.
Okay, this
Go
is where we're
grow
gonna
some
put a stop to
potatoes.
this.
Yeah,
we have Dungeons and Dragons to play. We can't be late for
yes.
that.
And as the head of this meeting, I hereby call this meeting adjourned.
This gathering of the Nerdic Council.
Indeed.
Okay,
This
I'll see you
meeting
guys
is now
next time.
adjourned. Yeah, see y'all
Bye.
later. Bye.